Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the first episode, the first cup of Java for 2022. It is Mental Health Mondays. Welcome to the Java Cafe. Let me first start off by saying Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you so much to everyone that tuned in the other night. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I do need to share a couple of things with you this morning, and it is very unfortunate that we do have to share the transition, the passing of a young woman, 16 years old, that was killed in Boston last evening. There was a series of shootings. My understanding is it was from 3 to 5 shootings last night, one right up the street from me. And my understanding is that a young lady, a 16-year-old, was killed last evening. And so we definitely want to hold space. And I don't have all of the details, but acknowledge that that in a world pandemic, that we're still dealing with issues of violence. And so we want to definitely keep our city in prayer. And speaking of that, not the full swing, but an inauguration or swearing in ceremony today. And despite that, our parents, I understand in Boston Public Schools, children weren't slated to return to school until tomorrow. However, I saw a lot of chatter on social media about testing and getting the test. And my understanding is, and I texted with the mayor last night, and it was this one's not on the city. I'm not going to say who it's on, but there is agreement, even in some of my texts with the teachers union leadership, that this one is not so much on the city and BPS. However, as some of you may know, and she asked me to share last night, that they did not get the test on time. They went and got the test themselves, and the BPS staff, presumably, and others this morning got together at about 5:30 along with the mayor, and they were packaging tests to get them out to the schools. And so we just wanted to let you know that that was happening and share that with you. We have our guest in the room. It is Mental Health Mondays. And what I'm going to do to transition us is just remind us that we're still dealing with COVID-19, and given the weekend, and, you know, whether we gathered properly or not, and, you know, whether there was spread, we will find out in a couple of weeks. But with that in mind, I just wanted to share this message with you from Mass Notify, and then we're going to bring our guest into the room. It's so apropos that she's here today to kick off our Healthier You in 22. I just heard from Dr. Brandy. She's going to be back with us soon, but I'm kicking off with Kym today, our author, in just a couple of seconds. So please check out this commercial, and we will be right back with you.
Your phone connects you to your family, your friends, your work. It keeps you up to date about the world around you. So why not use it to keep you and your loved ones safe? Now you can. Mass Notify can alert you to possible COVID-19 exposures right on your smartphone. It's anonymous and secure, and your location is never tracked. We're not out of the woods yet, so even if you're vaccinated, Mass Notify is a tool for you. Help Massachusetts reopen safely. Add your phone to the fight. Visit mass.gov/massnotify.
That's where you can go to get the information and sign up there for Mass Notify, and we'll share more information about that later this week. But without further ado, I would like to take this time to introduce someone that I have known for a long time, at least, if not more, at least 2 decades, if not more. And so I would like to present to some and introduce the 2 others, the great Kym Ayala, and I found out that she has she's going to tell us her full name. But Kym, welcome to the Java Cafe. You are my first guest for 2022, and we are starting off a campaign or theme this week. 2022, a healthier you. And so I think it's most apropos that you're kicking it off. And I'll be honest, it kind of happened by mistake because I, had scheduled you for tomorrow. And I can mention that, and you can appreciate that because we initially met as you support. I call him the bishop. I know there's the senior bishop, but you were supporting Bishop Thompson at the time, and then you transition, and now you're supporting who I still kind of call Bishop Matt Thompson. And so you're both of us move in the ministry of helps. And so I appreciate your flexibility in starting us off today. Please greet the people. Tell us how you are. Introduce yourself. And we'll go into a little bit about you and how you got to the book. But I think it's so apropos that with what I just mentioned and with what all we're dealing with today, that, the scripture in which your book is based on, there's a reference to a time to laugh and a time to cry. And honestly, Kym, we've been in a lot of time of crying. We've had Black joy and have laughed, but right now the balance, is kind of interesting. And so if you could introduce yourself, and with all of that being said, it's Mental Health Monday. End up your introduction with how you would describe, I'll switch it up a little bit, how you would describe your outlook for 2022 in one word.
Oh, geez. Okay.
In one word. Kym, welcome. Greet the people.
You. Hi, I'm Kym Ayala. My full name that James was talking about is Kym Lee Kincaid Ayala, and that is what is on my book. I decided to just grab everything all together and put it, because that's me, that's who I am. So I'm Lee Kincaid Ayala, and I've been working full time at Jubilee Christian Church, formerly New Covenant Christian Church, it was 20 years in October of last year. So I've been working full time in ministry. So, and let me see, I'm a wife. Carmelo Ayala is my husband. I have a 21-year-old daughter, Ari Ayala, and a 13-year-old daughter, Ane Ayala. So, they're my support. They're with me. I've kept them away because, they might, distract me or something. And I just got to stay focused.
Yes, ma'am.
And then my word for 2022 would be, for today, would be eager. So I am eagerly anticipating what the promises of God will be fulfilled for this year. Because there's a lot of things that, I have been part of, but I'm eagerly awaiting what's going to happen for 2022. Whether, it's the positive or the positive,
I love how you frame that, because mental health is of course it has to do with the mind and also feelings. But I like how you said whether it's the positive or the positive. So perspective is everything. Speaking of perspective, I know you as a background person. The only reason that a lot of people know, not the only reason, let me reframe that. And you get the spirit of which why I'm saying that. We know you so well because you execute you execute some great things. From at that time it was scheduling to you probably assist with some vision casting. You're probably a soundboard, because when anybody that served as a admin or executive assistant, that the relationship is pretty tight. And so all of that to say, you've been in the background. You're sort of a background person. You push. She's a strategist, you all. I talked to her earlier this year and she shared some things with me, and I was like, okay. She's one of the reasons why I really now have admin. And so, Kym, what made you embrace stepping in the forefront as an author? What was the moment of your time, thank you, Jesus, of arrival?
Yes. So, I'm in a constant state of arrival. I think that we all are in a constant state of arrival. So I've arrived from some things, but I'm on my way to some other things.
Yes,
and so I think that, I've always known that I was going to write a book since I was in the fourth grade. I'm 54 now, so I was in the fourth grade. I didn't realize that it was the Lord who told me that or showed me that way back when, however old you are in the fourth grade. But as I progressed, that thought or that whatever was put in me was never, I never forgot about it. No matter everything I went through in my whole life up till now, I never forgot about it. And it was during the pandemic that I had the time to reflect and to write. I looked back at, I have a lot of journals. I don't know how far back they date, maybe 2003. And so I was able to look at my journals, and the theme was consistent of what I was saying. It was always about time, and it was always about things that I was going through, and it was relating it to scripture and all of that. So I finally had the time during the pandemic, because I was home, to read through everything. And then I was invited, Pastor Mona invited me to speak at our virtual Dash International Women's Conference in, it was May. And my 53rd birthday had passed. And it was appropriate that I would talk about time management. But time management to me was more than just a calendar or, just dates or all of that. It was just reflecting over the time in your life. Because I thought every time I get towards my birthday, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, did I do everything I was supposed to do? And I'm a failure and all that stuff. And I had to just kind of pull it all together. And then I wrote it out.
So there's a few things there. And I did let Kym know, a couple of bullets I wanted to discuss. But at the end, I did tell her that, we could deviate based on the organics there. And so I love your perspective when you said that time management is not just scheduling, it's reflection. You did say that, but do you believe that there's no such thing as a dumb question, but can you apply that perspective to we're in the beginning of the year? Everybody's doing resolutions, and for you it's birthday. I've named before beginning of the year birthday. I look at their milestones. I'm reflective this time of year. Go deal with the failure thing too. But can that perspective around time management be applied to forecasting as well? It's reflective, but you can't really reflect. I wanted to ask about forethought with that same perspective on time management, not just being a schedule. We got to do it in the first quarter. What is the perspective for forecasting?
Right. So I think the part of the answer is that I find it hard to write down goals. So that's a forecasting to me. So I don't write down my goals because I feel like I'm accountable for them. And what happens if I don't?
Thank you for being real.
What happens if I don't accomplish the goal?
Okay.
But that doesn't mean I don't have goals.
Okay.
It means that I just don't write them because then somebody could see them, or I don't necessarily share them. But I'm working on that so that I can write them down. Like bucket list, I have a bucket list in my head.
Okay.
And I've accomplished some things on my bucket list. I'm like, oh, that was on my bucket list. That's not written. So I go back for forecasting. I just think of I know the plans that I have for my home and my family.
Yep.
Right. I know different times. I'm going to plan a vacation. I'm going to plan something. We have on the calendar plans for different events that we're going to attend.
Okay.
But for forecasting how I'm going to respond or relate to something, I can't necessarily. And so, James, one thing about me, sometimes I answer a question, but I'm not sure if I really answered your question.
Listen, so let's go there. I'm not sure if I've always asked the question because you said so much, and any folks that have been here before know that you'll answer a question and then I hear 10 different things and I have to decide in real time, okay, which two am I going to try to address? So we're good. We're good.
Okay, good.
And so you base this book, The Time of Arrival, on Ecclesiastes, and I'm a little rusty. Ecclesiastes
chapter 1 through 8, that there's a time for everything.
A time for everything. And so with what you said, and it's so interesting to hear, this platform started in the pandemic. You had the time to look at your journals and put this thing into place during the pandemic. There's a time for everything. What is your response in reference to time and where we are now? Where we have, I love how you said earlier that you're constantly arriving.
Yes.
We are constantly arriving in this pandemic.
Yes.
How does Ecclesiastes 3:1 through 8 relate to where we are now, and then we can go into some points in the book. I don't know if you this part I didn't mention. I guess I need to do better in planning with authors. If there's an expert excerpt you want to read from it or whatever, but I want to dig a little bit into some of the themes of the book
Yeah.
in relation to time and where we are right now, where we've arrived right now,
Mhm.
sort of as humanity.
So really, for the book, it's actually based on the different verses of Ecclesiastes 3.
Okay.
And so the first line, well, it says there's a time for everything, and then the next thing it says there's a time to be born. And so we each have a birth story of how we were born, how even we what we were conceived into, how we came to be. There's a story that shapes us. And so I have a birth story. I'm not saying all that it is because you have to get the book, but I have a birth story, and I recognize that it carried through me
Yes.
through the 54 years. And so I'll just use a couple of words where I didn't feel like I belonged
Mhm.
when I was born.
Mhm.
Not
Mhm.
because of my mother or anything. It was just the circumstance in which I was born in. And so I carried that. And so right now, as a 54-year-old woman, I'm carrying through, I'm dealing with, I'm taking captive the thoughts of
Come
not belonging, and that's something that I have to deal with, on a regular basis. And then there was one you commented, I think that made you call me, but there's a time to dance.
Yes.
And so I had my daughters dance with me. We just did like this little, I don't even know if it was 3 minutes dance, because that was one of the lines that it's a time to dance. So you dance because you've been through whatever you've gone through in your journey on your life. You can dance, you can be happy. It's fine, for you to do it. And then I had my husband come on where it was a time to love. That was another one of the verses. And we talked about, we'll be celebrating 28 years on the 15th, 28 years of being married. And so there was a choice. Yeah, we fell in love with each other, but then it became a choice to continue to love each other over the time.
Again, and I'm so inclined to start saying Minister Kim, but um again, okay, I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to stay focused. And so Ecclesiastes talks about, and I love let's talk about that. The birthing story.
Hmm.
I don't know, and I know, the most famous birthing story we know of is Jesus' birth in a
Hmm.
manger. And you talk about having a feeling of not belonging, not so much, from your mom, but I've never heard anyone articulate it in a manner where they talked about carrying
Yes.
the familiarity of the circumstances around their birth with them. We do it. I'm
Yes.
I'm the product of a 15-year-old teenage mother, and so I know that. I have a
Hmm.
sense of what comes with that.
Yes.
And so, can you go a little bit deeper for
Yes.
folks that are listening whose birthing story may be very interesting? They may be 24, they may be
Yes.
14, they may be 64 and still
Yes.
carrying it. How have
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you, James. I'll tell you a piece of it. I'll tell you a nugget of it is that you relate to me because I'm really fair skinned, right?
Yep,
I'm very fair skinned. My mother is not fair skinned. She's darker than me. She's not, dark. She's just darker than me, and so is the majority of my family. And so when I was born in the hospital, the women, because at that time they shared rooms, the
yes.
women in the room was looking at my mother and then looking at me like, what, how, what?
Mhm,
You know what I'm saying? And
mhm.
so, yeah, she loved me with all, she still does love me with all her heart. But then the people are like, I don't think they belong together, you know?
Yep.
So,
What we now call colorism. Did you had an experience at birth, Jesus? Of
yeah, yeah,
okay, let's unpack that. So we can't go too deep, but colorism has impacted. I got and I yep. When you said we can relate, I can relate as well. And so thank you for being transparent around that because it as much as I know that I've never heard anyone
mhm,
articulate that we literally carry
yes,
what we're familiar with around the circumstances of our birth. We carry that with us.
yeah, we
Whether
do.
we know it, name it or not, we do.
Right. Like I didn't know it. Like I couldn't have before now, I couldn't have said what
Yep.
it was,
Yep.
but I noticed I would be uncomfortable. I would feel a certain type of way in
Yep.
different situations.
Yep.
And so lo and behold, it's because of that. And so now that I can mark what it was, now I can get from it and I can arrive,
Yep.
past it. I've arrived to the whatever it is, and I can move on from there. And because I know what it is, I cannot go back to, responding in the way that I had before I did know it. Like I have to do better because I know better, so yeah, I have to change.
So that old adage, knowing is
Yeah,
half the battle.
yeah.
How did you get from your Bishop Foxworth used to say, you know when you're knower, from your knower to action? What did that look like for you? What what are some things that in it? Where are some places that you arrived, and where are some places you still trying to go when it comes
Mhm,
to the awareness and then moving into addressing it, from
mhm.
awareness to addressing with real time?
Yeah. So real talk is, I don't know, maybe I should just stay on this point of it. So feeling that I don't belong or feeling that I'm not included, it has made me want to include people. Like if I'm involved, I want to make sure that everyone's included.
Mhm.
In whatever it is. So I like to have people, over the house. I don't care, people can
Yep.
come and, if it's the kids or whatever, I want to include it. If it's something that we're having where there's, high level people and then maybe people who are considered like a facility person or, something like
Yep.
that.
Yep. I got you.
So if you're getting a nice meal as a high level person, well, I want the other person to get
Mhm.
the same.
Mhm.
I don't want them to have to get the leftovers. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it's made me want to personalize and take the time to include people because of you know what I've gone through.
So what you've carried with you is not all negative. What a byproduct of that was inclusiveness.
Yes.
So let's because we it is a new year and we're talking about resolutions,
Mhm.
and I believe that this is life changing for some people that are listening, because the truth is, just like I haven't heard it, a lot of people are now hearing it and they're sitting in it like, yeah, I remember this and that. And so thank you for naming that you went through the awareness and then you also extracted that it informs or it influences how
Yeah.
you can treat people.
Yes. Yes. I want to make sure everyone is treated fairly and justly. I don't like if people think that they're more than, and
Mhm.
that's what I tell my daughters. I'm like, everybody's just different. You're not better. You're not worse. You're just different, and so dare to be different. Be different. It's
Yes.
fine. Be
And
fine.
you just confirmed something for me, because I haven't checked the comments, because there are 40 something in here. So we're going to go in a second and just check, because I'm sure a lot of them are directed towards you. And Sharon Cornelius is, I'm sure, is in the room. And so but my graphics guy, I've been sharing with him that I got this. I put up a post a couple of years ago, and I talked about, if you want different, you got to do different, think different, da 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 da. And so thank you for the affirmation and going ahead and props. We need to go ahead and get that t-shirt out. So, now I want to say, Dr. Kym, when it comes to the part of Ecclesiastes that talks about, I believe it references to a time of planning, a time to plan, no, a time to sow and a time to
Mhm.
reap.
Plant. Yeah.
Yeah,
Read.
a plant. And so
Mhm,
we're in the beginning of the year, we're in a resolution, and you talk about that how you operate as a value is inclusiveness.
mhm,
How have you included your vision for you in 2022? You said you're eager. How are
mhm,
you translating eagerness into actual executing your time of arrival?
mhm. So I believe that it is just being present
Okay.
in everything that I do. There's a time to plant. I feel like seeds have been planted that I've planted and seeds that have been planted in me, and I have to watch them grow, and I have to, I can't give up on myself. But some days it might be harder than others to respond or be eager. Some days I want to be quiet and don't talk to anybody, for whatever reason. But I can't stay in that frame of mind, and so I just have to continue to be the best Kym that I can be, and just grab hold of everything. So everything that happens to me every day is something I'm moving forward in. I have to take it, and I have to deal with it, and I have to continue to move forward. Yeah, I can go watch what do I watch? Whatever, Young and Restless. Like I watch Young and Restless, and I could binge on that. But I gotta get up.
Yep.
I can't, you know what I mean? I can't stay in that, because that kind of takes me away from what I'm doing, which is fine. You can remove yourself from the situation, but you got to go back in. Like I can't stay in whatever it is that's not the best situation. So I've learned over time that I just have to keep moving forward. And sometimes if it's not for me, it's for my family. If it's not for me, it's for the people around me. But I just have to do it. There's me not answering the question again.
No, because there's a few things I want to take even out of that, and yeah, we're fine, Kym. And so you talk about being present, and people are casting goals, and we talk about SMART goals and quantifying them and whatnot. And a lot of times when we get into putting things, and it was so interesting to hear you of all people. This is personal, just James and Kym.
Yes.
To hear you say that you don't write goals down. I just picture your office. You got a whole wall that's a dry erase board, and you got fourth quarter. So that is so interesting to hear. And so how, with all that's going on, and I want to talk to our sisters and not to negate the brothers that are either from single homes or managing everything. You said two things in your last response there. You started off by talking about being present, but then you talked about also the everything that comes in. How have you learned to be present in what you're trying to accomplish in the moment? Because we are distracted. Especially nowadays, we are distracted. How do you stay present around your goal setting? And I guess we'll end that part with because you talked a little bit about that too, giving yourself grace. To step away sometimes. And so these two I really want to extract. I almost forgot that quick. The goal setting. We're going to end with grace, but how do you stay present when you're concentrating on a goal that with all the other stuff that's coming in?
Yeah, well, I can tell you that there's a difference between my work and my personal. So with my work, I'll have a plan. I have a notebook of what I need to do. I have a calendar, which I know that things are happening. So in that respect, I keep it 100 on
the whiteboard in the office.
I got my notebook, no whiteboard.
Okay.
Notebook. If I lose my notebook, I'm up a creek. But for personal reasons, like I think that I just step back sometimes a little bit too much for me personally, because you know how you fight harder for somebody else than you would for yourself. You know how you would support somebody, better than you would support yourself. And so I have to just be mindful of that I'm a human and I'm a person. And just as I give someone else, grace, or I give someone else an opportunity, or I encourage, tell someone something positively, that I have to do that to myself. I have to give myself the benefit of the doubt. I have to give myself the grace to be 100 for myself. And so sometimes that's a little harder, but I feel like I'm getting better at it. That's why we're here today.
Absolutely, because if you were to ask Kym and I, maybe I won't even say 5 years ago, I just felt something. Would either one of us up here on a screen? All right, let's go to the comments, because I felt something. You know what I mean when I say I felt something crawl up my back. Jesus, who would have ever thunk we'd both be doing this? I want to go into some of the comments. and check in with probably some familiar names you see here. This is one, Kym. Sharon is so wonderful that she doesn't even have to use words. Sharon, if anything ever happens to me, or even if anything doesn't happen, next to the host, Sharon, I think, is the most popular person in the
Right. Yes.
Sharon.
Sharon has this thing, and it's got history with it, and all we got to do is say, "Stop me if I'm lying," and we know what we mean. So yeah,
I can hear Sharon saying that. Hey, the brother is in the room. Andrew, good to see you in the room, brother. Good to see you in the room. I was just trolling some of the comments to just check in and see if folks had any questions or reference points before we get ready to move on, because I'd like to. I don't know if you're prepared with the excerpt from the book. If not, we can talk about what are some other themes that, like, what will people walk away with after they read the book? Like, how will their lives be changed? Because I really believe that. I have a sense of you and know that you wouldn't move. I know unequivocally you wouldn't move in this if it wasn't an unction to do it.
Right.
So what are they going to walk away with, Kym, after they complete the book?
I don't know if we have time, but James, I just wanted to talk about, you remember when we talked initially, like months and months ago?
Yes.
You said, "Kym, what are you doing?" Right? You said something like that.
I think it was after the video, because for me to see you out there, it was the dancing video to which you referenced before, and I'm like, okay, what's going on, sis? So go ahead. Yep, let's talk about.
And then my response was, I don't know. What does it look like I'm doing?
I do remember that. I do remember because at that time there was still some. I remember there was still some nervousness and ambiguity. That's right.
What does he think? And then I just told you that it was the Lord who prompted me, and I was writing a book. I was in the process of doing that. So So just an example that I have, the book is like a GPS. So you put in your GPS where you want to go, and it gives you an estimated time of arrival for you to get there. But along the way, you could run into a detour that wasn't part of the original course. You can run into a detour, and you're supposed to bear right, but you took a sharp right. Well, you got to go back around. So what I'm suggesting is that I think it's important that people just, if they feel like they're stuck in an emotion or a feeling, or, just kind of stuck frozen, that they go back and figure it out. Like, go back to what made you feel fearful of a particular situation. Go back and sort it out, because you still have time. You still have time. And then once you figure it out, you've arrived. You've arrived, right? And then you're on to the next thing, right? That you have to arrive from, right? But you're always arriving. You're always arriving from something. But yeah, that's what it came. And then I thought of something. I don't know if I have time for it. Okay. So one example I thought of is, let's say that there's a person, just to make it real, who's in a spelling bee, right? I guess they have them in elementary school. And it was between that person and you. And you got the word happiness, and you spelled it wrong. Well, that's a traumatic thing that happened. You lost the spelling bee because you spelt the word happiness wrong. So maybe that's when you were 11 or something. So you could go through your life making decisions where you're not happy. And then you get to be 27 and you're like, why aren't I happy? Why am I still going around in circles of these situations? Well, you go back to the spelling bee. Maybe because you didn't spell it correctly, you think you don't deserve to be happy. Maybe you lost to that person. So the happiness. Well, I'm just not going to be happy. So you just. I think you just go back. Yeah, we deserve to be happy. It doesn't matter what happened when you're 11 years old. It matters, but you're 27, and so you have to figure out. You have to get through that, and then you be responsible for whatever comes, from your revelation. Wait, should I have drink one?
No, because I'm there's a few places I could go, Kym. There's a few places I can go. So what I heard there is some people, and thank you. And somebody hit me up the other day and asked me when was my last therapy appointment, and I had to confess it's been a while. And so some people walk away from it, no pun intended. Some people um, don't believe in the, going back. They believe in just sort of burying it. And,
Yeah.
but Bishop Bragg used to teach unaddressed issues have babies. And so somewhere along the line, it's
They're
going
gonna come back up. Yeah.
to come back up. So you're saying what I heard here was we need to intentionally
Yes.
look at some areas in which we are stuck, the areas in which we have not arrived. Maybe in this case, write them down, and think about them. Think
Yeah.
about who you are.
Mhm.
Think about. It's funny because my therapist said that my life experience, I developed habits to survive,
Mm.
and then it became a lifestyle. Then it became my character. And I think she ended with it became the essence of who I am.
Yes.
So if you don't go back,
Yeah.
you're gonna go back one way or another.
Yes.
Even
Absolutely.
Kim, you got me ready to have a Hammond. So you got to go back one way or another. You're saying that we should intentionally go back.
Mhm.
And then also, I heard from you that
Mhm.
there's some work. We need to do some work and think about why. Let's use the example. Okay, I have trouble with being happy. I'll be transparent. Like when everything is going good,
Yes.
I'm constantly looking behind my shoulder, like, okay,
Right.
what, what bill, what rumor,
Right.
what's coming? And I had to call someone one day and say, why? And so,
Mhm.
and then I had to go back and unpack. There was always, trauma and drama. And so,
Right.
we will go back one way or another. Once
Mhm.
we go back, we have to understand that we're going to need to do some work.
Yes.
And that works. What is that? What can that work? What did that work where you're comfortable sharing look like for you? And let's keep it to what you talked about, belonging, the colorism thing.
Mhm.
What did that work look like for you? Inclusiveness was a benefit.
Mhm.
What did the work look like from that negative experience to you realizing when you arrived that you were an inclusive person,
Mhm.
probably based a lot on you not being included?
Mhm. So what does it look like? It looks like just on that issue, it looked like I would never talk about my nationality. Like I would never talk about it. I just wanted to be just Kim. I'm just Kim. I'm a person. I'm a human. I don't want to just be subject to a box or check off a box of what I am. I didn't want to do that because I've been treated different type of ways because of it, right? So it was a spot that was, hurt, and I had to heal from it. But I just had to. Let me see. I feel like I forgot your question.
No, what did the work look like for you? Or let's say when you arrived at the
Okay,
point,
yeah, I got it.
go ahead.
So the work looked like me acknowledging what I am. So yes, I'm a whole bunch of different nationalities. I did a post about it during Black Lives Matter because sometimes I felt like I didn't have a voice in that because I'm so fair skinned.
Mhm.
But the reality of it is I'm a lot of different nationalities and black is one of them. So yeah, just because I'm fair skinned, that doesn't mean that I can't, be against, injustice just because I'm fair skinned, and so I had to settle that with myself. I don't have to go, I don't know what you do, like wear different kind of outfits or whatever. I just had to
Over
acknowledge
your
it.
skirt, you're black. Come, Kim, come. My God. Sorry.
Yes.
This is good. This has been a long time coming. Um, okay. Do me a favor. If you could put in the private chat your email address, because I improperly didn't cut and paste it, because I want to make sure that you guys have the information to contact Kim to get the book. You can stay updated. I believe it's in its final. So can I ask, is this your first interview as the author?
Yes.
Hold on,
No,
Jesus.
no, 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 no.
Oh,
Actually,
crap. Okay.
Pastor Mona had me on. No, no, no. Pastor Mona had me on in December. for the women's conference, we talked about it again. And so
Okay.
it all centers around my birthday. So we talked about it at the Dash takeover in May of 2020. And then in April of 2021, we talked about it again. So I was part of an author setting. There were some
Okay.
other people up there who was coming. So no, it's not my first.
You hear her whole tone of voice. She's so nurturing. She was like, "No, baby, no, sorry. Look, look, look. I had to cue up the clap and everything. But no,
Yeah. So yeah, so I've been, talking about it for a bit, but it's coming out in April because it's all been based on my birthday. So it was April 2020, April 2021, and now it'll be April 2022 that'll be out. And my email is justkym24@gmail.com.
okay." We're going to put it up on the screen here so folks can take a screenshot of it. I will also put it in the comments and pin it. I think I can pin it to the top. Kym, as I'm doing that, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. This is very impromptu. Because of your role, you are very much aware that our faith leaders are dealing with a lot during this pandemic. And often in this space, we've prayed for them. We talked about it. And so as I'm getting ready to put this stuff up, I just wanted to give you a couple of seconds to think about from within your role,
Mhm.
what is it that laymen, what is it that sub leaders or whatever can do to support the men and women of God, to ensure that they are still here to arrive at their appointed time?
Mhm.
Because this has been very interesting, and I know the lens in which you have seen this
Mhm.
macro, just because of the office in which you serve, and to my friend and brother, strong man of faith, but he's human, as you said before, and just it's been so interesting for all of them. And so I'm going to queue up the email information just to give you some time because this is sort of impromptu, but I know you can speak to it.
Mhm.
This is Kym's email address, everyone. Take a screenshot of this. Matter of fact, let me do this right. Take a smile, Kym. Take a screenshot and point down. Take a screenshot of that right there. And this is the email address in which you can contact Kym in order to stay up to date about the book. And I'm also going to put it in the comments. But Kym, based on what I just mentioned a few moments ago, how can Pastor, hey, Pastor Mona. Hi. How you doing? Pastor Mona is in the room. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm going to put the email address in the comments here, and so you all can have it there as well. And if you go back and watching this at a later time, the email address is in there. And so, what is it that you would say, Kym, to laymen and folks in the Java Cafe? How we can support? I know things like prayer, but just how can we support our leadership better?
Mhm. It's definitely prayer, and it is being a support, and in all type of ways. So for my pastors, Pastor Matt and Pastor Mona, I just do what I can to be there for them,
Yep.
so that there are some things that they don't have to think about because I'm there. I'm going to catch them, and I'm going to move forward with them. I'm going to take care of them, and then I'm going to let them know. But I feel like we've had such a relationship that they could trust that I wouldn't, I don't go crazy, doing anything out of character. But if there's any way that
That's not you.
no, it's not
That's
me.
not you. No, 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 no.
I don't do that. And then there are other pastors, who visit us or who I see. I just feel like we just need to be a support because the load that they're carrying is heavy. Even just me talking to, I have a small circle. I have a circle of people, and I like to be a listening ear. But if I'm listening to just that one person, or let's say the 5 people, it's enough for me to, be thinking and praying for them. But pastors, they have like a whole flock that they're listening to, and then they have their people. They have their own things that they're going through, and so I would just say, just pray for them, really, and support where you can, and I don't know, try not to be a burden. Because
If you don't want to say it, I'll say it. Try not to be a burden. Um,
yeah,
and
because there are things that we can deal with on our own that we don't necessarily need a pastor to take care of for us. We can, if we follow the teachings, and we're mature believers, we can take care of it. on our own. We have to be confident. Now, there are people that are new that, they need some guiding and teaching, and that's fine. But if you're a mature believer and you follow the teaching, like, you can now be a help to them, to
Come.
the pastors, So whenever a pastor comes to visit us for a conference, I just try to be there for whatever they need. Anyone coming, I just try to be that support. And so that's what I would say. Just pray and be supportive. And don't.
I appreciate that because I served bishop, and
Yes.
so I'm aware of the context in which you're talking. But I thought it was important to seize that opportunity from someone that exudes what we don't hear a lot about anymore. Out of Lord Jesus again, Kym, I'm rusty. The ministry of helps.
Yes.
That is that everybody wants the ascension gifts and all of that, but the ministry of helps is what keeps.
Right.
So that's how it's so interesting because I'm sure there are going to be some I'm sure there are points of reference of this time of you waiting to arrive to this
Mhm.
point that you can point to in serving in ministry. And so, folks, the information is here. This is the wonderful author. Can I at least squeeze in? Is this your first online? No, because Pastor Mona, I know you had to come. Is this your first one-on-one interview?
Yes, this is my first with Java with Jimmy. Yes. Yes. My first Java.
I would listen. We got to be intentional. I think I'm gonna have to clip out you sipping because I've seen a few people do it, but you do it well. Kym, I appreciate you so much in more ways than what you know from the years of emails to when I was a little feisty activist and trying to talk to the pastors and whatnot. Thank you. And thank you for the support, and thank you for just being who you are. And I agree with Pastor Mona that this is probably not the last book we'll hear from you. And folks, if I understood a text message right, Kym is getting more comfortable with speaking. And so if you would like to contact Kym to speak as an author and maybe talk not just to your women's groups, because some brothers can hear from Kym, and I'm sure she can really speak and dig in a place that maybe some other brothers can't. And so if you would like to reach out to her to talk about the book, to talk about a lot of what she mentioned today here in the Java Cafe, you can also email her about that. Kym, any closing words that you would like to just share with the people? And we're good. This is I'm a different tired. Usually, you know the virtue. Usually when it's a good interview, I'm tired. I need about a half an hour to decompress. I'm a little tired, but also energized and challenged. And so I appreciate you. I really, really do.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you so much for inviting me. And sometimes it's really great for people to see something in you that you can't see in yourself. And so I was, kind of suspicious, like, what is really going on? But I appreciate that you did. So you brought me further out of a comfort zone that I was, that I was in, or I could be settled in. And that's not what's for me anymore. I'm supposed to do what I'm supposed to do because there are people waiting for me to do it. Not only my daughters, my daughter's initials are ATA, both of them. And so ATA, actual time of arrival, it goes with that. It goes with them, my babies. And so, you further have pushed me out there. What comes from this? I don't know, but you just say yes. Sometimes you got to say yes to some stuff without knowing. Sometimes you just have to face your fear, do it afraid, whatever it is. Just I had to put on extra deodorant. It's fine. So thank you for for asking me, and I appreciate your the format that you have and the platform that you have that you would include it. Yeah.
Oh, that goes. It goes without saying that I saw, and I was just curious. I saw the TikTok and I said, "This is so quote unquote not Kym." And then we started talking, and so I appreciate and there's a cadence when you talked about knowing that there's a tribe. I think it was Seth Gordon that wrote the book, Our Tribe or Your Tribe. If you haven't, check that book out, Kym. Seth Gordon, reach out to me if we're doing a free plug for you. We have an author here in the person of Kym, but I saw the confidence when you sat there and you leaned in a little bit and said that there's probably quite a few in here today that needed to hear what you needed to say. And so you are actually in your perfect, time of arrival.
Amen.
And yep, with that being said, I'm going to get you off my screen before I slip up under this desk with a white sheet and need somebody to come fan me, Jesus. But no, Kym, I love you. Please give your husband my best. I see him. Let him know that he's seen. Last couple of times I was there, I've seen him just working, and that, yeah, he's anyway. I'm not gonna mess with that. I love you. And I'll talk to you soon. And Pastor Mona, thanks for being in the room. And I'm going to do a couple of announcements with folks. And again, this is how you all can get in touch with Kym to get information about the book, as well as reach out to her if you would like her to speak with your group where, things are interesting with the numbers in COVID. And so if we go back into some virtual spaces, hit the sister up and she will bless your Zoom. And so Kym, thank you. Appreciate you. I will definitely be in contact. Oh, you definitely getting a couple of texts after this.
Thank you.
I love you, sis.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Everyone, that was our wonderful author, Kym Ayala, who came in to talk about her book. And this was a powerful session. I think it is so appropriate that we kicked off with her. Please don't forget, tomorrow we are still going with your healthy Java, and we're going to continue the conversation around 2022, a healthier you, sort of these first couple of days of the new year. And so tomorrow for your healthy Java, which is sponsored by the Massachusetts General Hospital Office of Equity and Community Health, is Margaret Coach Meg Moore. She has an MBA and she's also an executive coach, and she's going to come in and further the conversation around resolution setting. How do you address some of the mental barriers, even which Kym talked about today, going back to your birthing story? Like, that was awesome to hear that. I think I'm going to need to reach out to Toy, and we need to do maybe a session on that. And Brandy and I can talk about it as well. But tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., Coach Meg is coming in, and we'll be here with Dr. Alabre as well. And that is going to be from the theme Resolutions, a New Year, a New You. So come in tomorrow at 9 a.m. We will be back continuing from the theme 2022, a healthier you. That's how I can tell it's time to go. I'm a little bit tired. Mary, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Good to see you. Sharon Cornelius, Elder James Hills. I'm not, your gift is at, bye, Pastor Sharon. See, there she go. Yes. All right. So Stacy, good to see you in the room as well. I'm not going to be able to catch up with all of the comments. And Pastor Mona said it here. She is not just a support, but she is family. And it is just awesome. Teresa, I can't see, unfortunately, StreamYard won't let me see the memes or the stickies that you put in, but thank all of you for tuning in today. I think I saw my mom. I saw Brother Drew, Pastor Marion, Thaddeus, good morning. Domingos, good morning. Asia, Props, good morning. I did see my mother, Tasha, good morning. Stan, good morning. Kelly, Daryl, good morning. I'm going to get in trouble because both of the Thompsons was in the room, Jesus. Pastor Matt, love you, bro. Thank you so much for everything. I really appreciate you. Love you, sir. Good morning, Rob. Good morning. I think I got everybody. Sister Debbie, my Aunt Connie, Auntie Java, Heidi, good to see you. Crazy Lake, Heidi, you got to go back and watch Kym. Oh, my Jesus. You got to go back. Valerie Gonzalez, Sister Kym, sending love your way, rejoicing as I watch you thrive, wishing you, Jimmy, and all of the Jubilee family the happiest new year. Thank you so much. Thank you. Carolyn, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Good to see you. My sister Eliza, a new mom. Well, not that new, but this is Eliza's first new year being a mom. Good to see you in the room, Eliza. Good to see you in the room. All right, guys, I'm getting off of here. We will be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with Coach Meg in our Your Healthy Java session at 9 a.m., sponsored by the Massachusetts General Hospital Office of Equity and Community Health. Shout out to the team there. We got some great things planned for you. I think I mentioned on Facebook the other day, I had my first team meeting last week, and it was good. And I got to go confirm 11:30 today because we are trying to move the platform to its own. Love your Facebook and Twitter, and we're still going to share over here, but pretty soon you'll be able to just do one click and go straight to my website and watch there. And so that is coming. We got some things planned for you in 2022. And I think that is it for me today. Thank all of you for as I said, Jimmy, she's 2 months. Tell her a happy 2-month birthday. I didn't say a year. Okay. All right, everyone. Have a awesome Monday. We will not be in session this afternoon for Black Mental Wealth. That is coming back in a couple of weeks. I'm going to reshift some things with there. Of course, we're going to reach out to Naisha and Jelani. They're still going to be in the room and a part of it, but I want to expand sort of that conversation, and have had the opportunity to make some great connections with some folks that move in that correlated space between mental wealth and mental health. I mean, wealth and mental health. See, they're all tied together. All right, I'm going. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and we shall talk to you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Peace, everybody.